Lisa.
Thank you so much, Renee, and welcome everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Accelerated Learning Approaches, focus on integrated education and training programs. As you know it, IETs. The webinar is a follow-up to our Accelerated Learning Approaches series. We've designed this in response to participants' interest in learning more about programs that are implementing different approaches. Again, we're focused today on IETs. You'll have the opportunity to listen to our panelists, and after that point, we're going to be going into breakout rooms where you'll have the opportunity to actually interact, ask your questions in a smaller group format, and so that we can share inquiry, share experiences as well. Please do feel free to chat your questions. We are monitoring them, and we will make sure that they get answered in chat or when we come back to a larger group. So for introductions, I'll be quick. I'm Lisa Lefevre. I am a research manager and senior program associate at West Ed. I'm joined by my two colleagues. I'll give them both a second to introduce themselves. Blair.
Hi, thanks, Lisa. It's great to be here, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm delighted about this session and the presenters who will be speaking with us today. My name is Blair Wilson-Tosto. I used to work at West Ed and continue in many of those roles and on some of the projects, just simply as a consultant at this point. So thanks for being here. And I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Hi all, thanks Blair. Really great to be here and to see the level of interest in this topic. My name is Greg Hill Jr. I'm a senior research associate at West Ed, and I've had the great pleasure of working with Blair and Lisa for a good long time.
Perfect. And of course, at every webinar, I do my extension of thanks for the different teams involved. I really want to recognize the Chancellor's Office CAPE team, Myra Diaz, I believe Sanjay Mehta is here today, Cora Rainey, and of course, the CDE team, Dr. Carolyn Zachary, Diana Batista, and Neil Kelly, who support this type of work. Sanjay or Diana, are you here? Do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi, Lisa. This is Sanjay Mehta. I'm the program analyst for the Adult Ed program at the Chancellor's Office. We're so glad everybody was able to join, and we have a lot of great speakers, so excited to learn more. Anyway, I'll turn it over to Diana.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Yes, we're really excited to see what you have to say on this continuing accelerated learning path. Thank you for providing the information.
Wonderful. Thank you to both of you also. And of course, thank you, SCOE TAP team. You have always been very helpful to us. You make these events possible, and your support is really critical to organizing and making everything that is big and small run smoothly. So that said, we're going to turn over to Blair to talk about our objectives. Oh, Blair, you're on mute.
Thanks. Super. The agenda is pretty straightforward today. We have our welcome, which we're pretty much through. Then we're going to move straight to the panel, and then we'll be moving into 2 rounds of breakout rooms where you'll have a chance to interact a little bit more closely with a couple of the presenters and ask them the questions that may not have surfaced in the panel presentation. I just wanted to make sure that we are aligned in what we're here. We're talking about integrated education and training, which is a federally defined program approach, although people take different approaches to it. But here, usually what we talk about is one that combines basic skills, training such as literacy, numeracy, and English language learning with occupational skills training within this context of a specific industry or occupation, as well as workforce preparation skills. So those are your 3 components that we talk about. And really the goal of an IET is to equip individuals with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the workforce, particularly in high demand fields. IETs generally focus, if you were in our other accelerated learning webinars, that they tend to focus on contextualized learning, collaboration among partners, tailored programming to a job or industry, and that also includes all those support services needed to enhance student learning, retention, and success, as well as fitting onto a career pathway, which is why we're interested in hearing from our colleagues in the field, because really, these are complex programs. So I think that with that, we're going to move on into the panel. So we have three subject matter experts here who are taking their time to present with us, and I really want to thank them. You're most gracious. We've got Dr. Francisco Narciso from LA Unified School District, Tammy Olson from Visalia Adult School, and Dr. Toibi, I knew I was going to get it wrong as soon as I had to perform, Rublaitis, who is from Corona Norocco Unified School District. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'll pose some questions to them. We'll think through those, they'll respond, and then we'll move into those breakout rooms. So really this time is to allow you to learn more about IETs and work on thinking about new or enhanced designs within your own context. All right. So I'd like to start off, I'd kick it off to Francisco, and we're going to have each of you introduce yourselves and then tell us a little bit about your IET program and what compelled you to start this program.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Francisco Narciso. I'm with LA Unified School District. Big hello from LA, downtown LA. We've been doing IET for a while now, and so I'm excited to be here to share some of the things that we're doing, especially related to partnership. And I'm excited because this is the platform to do it. We started IET, well, first of all, our IET program mostly looks like a co-teaching model. So we have two teachers in one classroom, and basically they're contextualizing the content where the ESL is taught related to some kind of career training, as well as preparing for the workforce. And in the past, we've had numerous IET programs identified by the local labor market needs. For example, we've had automotive IETs, buildings and grounds, cosmetology, computer operations, patient care, child development, and culinary arts. And it's really one of our equity driven programs. And our hope is that we provide opportunities for English learners to move along their career pathway faster. And it was obvious early on that we needed this. There was a big equity gap where ESL students needed to finish our ESL program before even considering a CTE class. So we were very excited to have started this, because a lot of our students, they come to us with already background in education, already background in some kind of career, they just lack the language skills. So that's a real quick introduction of our program here at LAUSD, Division of Adult and Career Education.
Super, thank you. Tammy, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. In our programs, basically a lot of the same, like Francisco. We do a dual teaching model as well for most all of our IET programs. And we started our IETs basically to meet the needs of the community that we served. And we pulled those students in our community that were second language learners, as well as our community partners who were needing jobs filled, especially post-pandemic, and they were needing workers to come back. And so that's kind of where the basis of our program started. We were delving into it right before the pandemic, but really saw the programs come to fruition more so afterwards with the dual teaching model. We have 9 programs that we offer IETs for. And again, based upon industry, 3 or 4 of them are medical related. We have a lot of different job types in our area in the medical fields. And so we started with our CNA, now nurse assistant training programs. And then from there, resident care. Then our hospital, who is our largest employer in our area, was like, well, we need custodial folks as well, and nutrition and health. And so that lended us to start a custodial training program for IET. So we basically, whatever the needs have come to us from our community areas, we have tried to fill those needs with the IET model program.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, both have really robust programming. Toibi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. I am from Corona Norco Adult School, and our school serves about 3,000 students. And 68% of our students for a long time, 60 to 70% of our students are English language learners. And so over time, as the community started becoming more higher income level, our ELs population that comes in are mostly people who come from other countries who already have some training in some career pathway or the other. So as we learned that, and we learned that a lot of our students already have knowledge of training in a pathway, and if we can place them better, faster, our school truly believes in the fact that you don't have to wait till advanced level to be able to join or have a career. You already have knowledge of that. English is the only thing that you're lacking. So what we started doing in 2014, when we first went and saw the IBES model, how it works, we, even before that, I think 2011, 12 is when we went for that training. And then when we saw that, we were like, oh, this will be perfect for our students. So we already have an EL population, so it was easier. We didn't have anything in CTE when we heard about all this. So we developed some more CTE classes, and as we put the CTE classes in, we made sure that these are going to be aligned with our EL classes. So our classes we are quite creative because our building is very small. We have only 4 classrooms on our building, but we have a lot of satellite locations. So what we started doing is we started sharing with the students about the different pathways in the first semester of the school year. And by the second semester comes, students are a little bit more aware of all the different pathways. So then we started getting our students to choose a pathway. We have 4 pathways in our school: business and finance, early childhood development, skilled trades, and healthcare. So we were very, very fortunate to get a big grant from EDD to do the healthcare career pathway this year. So we started with CNA, and now we have pharmacy tech and medical assistant. We are working towards building an LVN, thanks to people like Tammy, who helps us to share her knowledge. And so we offer some alternate models and some co-teaching models, depending on where the classes are held and what is needed out of the students.
Thank you. That's really interesting. I also really appreciate hearing about the fact that you all are collaborating in the field, learning from one another, because an IET, it's so helpful if you can collaborate and build resources together. I am going to also talk about partnership first, because that is a huge part of being able to alleviate both funding, sustainability, as well as I think you all have also talked about how they also inform your programming. So I'm going to start with you, Toibi, and ask, who are your core internal or external partners, and how did you identify and engage them for? You can either choose one IET or talk about it in general.
Okay, so let's just talk about our CNA classes. Our CNA classes are external partners, are community organizations such as the Corona Regional Medical Center and Corona Post-Acute. We also partner with Corona Chamber of Commerce to help us get placements for our students once they are done. And then one more for our business and finance, we partner with Express Employment Professionals, and our business office technology certification certified students is recognized by Express Employment Professionals. We also partner with our school district, who gives our students the jobs they need after they finish the business office technology certification and as office clerks at the district. And for our early childhood development too, we partner with our district to get our students paraeducator jobs at the district. That's our internal.
Thank you. That's you make it sound easy. It's very difficult to have all of those partners. Francisco, I saw you smile at that. So yes, were you going to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to add to what you said. All these took years of building relationships, being part of the Chamber of Commerce at the city, So it didn't come easy. It took 3, 4, 5 years before we built all these partnerships. Now we have MOUs with all of the ones I talked about, and we are still building more MOUs with for our pharmacy tech and all the others.
Thank you. Francisco, same question to you.
Yeah, Blair, I was smiling because as I was listening, a lot of the things that were said were exactly some of the things that we're doing with LAUSD, especially partnering internally. We're very fortunate in that LAUSD is a big agency. And so we partner with our LAUSD Personnel Commission to fill some of the jobs that are open within our district. And so I heard child development, we fill some of those jobs too. We also have 11 adult schools within our division. And so our internal partners are those 11 adult schools. And so coordinating IET programs throughout our district is important, because if we don't have an IET program in one school, we might have it in another school. And so we have that option because of just how large our district is. We also have some external partners, and we partner with the city of LA, the county of LA, a local transportation agency, hospitality agency, and agencies that would hire our personal care aides. And so we engage them to fill some of these jobs. And so these partners, we try to involve them in the whole process of getting the classes started, like identifying the needs, implementing the program, studying outcomes, and making any kind of improvement to the program. We try to include the partners in all of these steps. And also the partners come to and visit the classes. And so they give insight on, what's relevant in the field. They address things like what are the entries into employment for this industry? What are the job market trends, salaries, just the reality of working in these industries. And so students could ask these guest speakers questions directly to get their questions answered, the questions that were important to them. And finally, also leveraging with our partners, external partners, leveraging resources and networks. We recently partnered with a hospitality agency, and we're able to use their kitchen to teach some of these English learners. That's just an example. We've worked with the mayor's office, and the mayor's office they have a huge network. And so building the IET around child development and the goal of eradicating or helping early childhood education students, using their network for that. So those are internal and external partners.
Thank you. Also really rich. And Tammy, I know even more about yours. I look forward to hearing about your partnerships.
So yeah, I would say one of the things that makes an IET or breaks it is your partnerships. And we are very fortunate that we have huge support in our two local counties, Tulare and Kings County. So as far as internal partners, the same type of thing. A lot of our smaller adult schools in our area send their students to us for the IET, CTE type programs. If they don't have those, we partner with our community college, especially in our medical programs. A lot of our students feed into the LVN to RN bridge. If they're in our beginning construction and they want to get into construction maintenance or get their associate's degree so that they can get a higher paying job, then we transition them. And we have a great relationship and partnership with our local community college here, as well as there are several different agencies, the biggest being our Workforce Investment Board. Through our Workforce Investment Board, we have a great partnership. They sponsor many of our students that are not IET students. So that's really great. Then we can integrate students into the program for free through the sponsorship if they're not a second language learner. So then both groups of students get to take the course for free because of that sponsorship. And then other grants We also partner with our own district in a lot of the different areas, the childcare, the custodial, even some within the health field for the LVN programs. And then other medical resources, of course, our hospital. Like I said, they're our largest employer in our area. And so that is, they have been a partner with us for over 40 years. So they're a long-standing. So then when we came to them with the idea of an IET and wanting to get more second language learners, they were right on board because they had more and more second language learner or non-English speakers as patients, but not enough workers that could help do translation and things like that for the patients. So that one was an easy one. And then from there, I went out and started working with our Visalia Economic Development committees, our South Valley Industrial Collaboratives. Amazon was coming in about that time. Our industrial park was exploding. So got connected with all the folks that were in those industries so that we could then extend that partnership in industrial maintenance and office skills and all the other areas that covers. And then also through Artillery County Health and Human Services, we have a huge partnership with them as well for our IET programs. And then about 4 years ago, it was me going to all of these different meetings with all of these different partners, which is great and it's needed. You need that networking. And I was just at a Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning before this meeting, and one of the staffing agencies came up to me at the end of the meeting and said, "We need 8 welders. Can you get me 8 welders?" And so I said, as soon as I get back, I will have our staff starting calling our graduates from May and see if any of them have not gotten a job yet. Most of them had already gotten jobs before they even finished. So, but if we have any, we'll send them your way. So a lot of that networking, but I was like, okay, how can I bring these folks to me? So I started what we called our SIP advisory board. And on that advisory board, I have somebody from all these different partners, plus somebody from our city that help and that we're able to share information. They're able to tell us what's needed in the industry, things that are changing in the industry. And so having that as a partnership, along with going out and developing other partnerships, has really helped our IET programs to take off.
Thank you. Wow, I'm taking notes and I'm not sure between the 3 of you, I'm hoping I get it. But yeah, because those are really rich, and I'd like to note Tiobi's comment in the chat that that she was talking about being nominated and moving on to those boards. I think all 3 of you talked about the really strong networking, the outreach, and then I really like the idea, Tammy, of having created a board where people come together and you can, then be able to get that informing, and as well as all 3 of you talked about feedback from your partners to make sure that you're aligned to industry, certificates are recognized. I'd like to switch a little bit. Yes, Toby.
If I may add, I think there is something very important I forgot, and I think it's worth noting, is that relationship with the district is also very critical. So our CTE department at the district is huge, and I'm part of everything they do, from the advisory board meetings as well as monthly meetings. I'm there, or if I'm not there, one of our staff members always there. And we don't have, like I said, we don't have our own building, so we offer our welding at a high school location where they had the welding class in the morning. At night it's empty, so that same teacher teaches for us at night. So that way we're able to offer more than we could have on our own.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really important to note that if you don't show up, you can't make those relationships. And it is, I mean, it is really, it's important, but it's a lot of work. And I really appreciated all of you talking about the length and the depths of your partnerships, and that it isn't overnight, right? You have to build that engagement. Yes, Tammy.
Sorry, but I just wanted to add too, I know, and more for the smaller districts. I'm a very large adult school, So, and I have 3 assistant principals. So I'm able to do a lot more than a small school that has one administrator, and maybe that administrator is wearing several different hats. And so like Toby said, that's so important to build that relationship with your district, but then also other adult schools in your consortium. So if you aren't able to provide it, but you can provide students to then there's your partnership. Maybe you provide the ESL student or the ESL instructor, and the other adult school provides the CTE instructor or the location, and then you can co-enroll them into both of your programs. I just know from our own experience in our consortium, there are just several that are so small. They're like, we could never do an IET. It's like, well, you can if you partner with other adult schools within your area.
Yeah, community colleges are also superb partners. I think
Yes.
you mentioned those.
Yeah.
So we could go on partners for a very long time. I'm going to do one more question, then we'll move into the breakout. But I was really hoping that you all might be able to talk about how you all are able to ensure that the 3 components, the occupational training, the adult literacy and language and ESL component, and then the workforce preparation are integrated into your programs. And Francisco, I'm going to start with you, if that's all right.
Thank you, Blair. Early on, we created an image, a triangle, and that triangle represents IET with the 3 different parts. And we use this triangle as a guiding image as we went through teacher training. We have community of practices for our IET teachers, and we also have co-planning time for IET teachers. And so in all of these situations, we address these 3 components: the career training, ESL, and the workforce preparation. With the community of practices, we use these 3 IET components with relevant topics. So for example, last year, our topic was how might we integrate IET components when giving feedback to students. This year, our focus was how might we integrate IET components with discussion and engaging students. And so we try to integrate that image and those 3 parts in all we do to support all of our trainings, community practices, and also giving the teachers co-planning time. And the co-planning time is key because, you have 2 teachers maybe teaching in the same classroom in a co-teaching situation or an alternating teaching situation. They're teaching one right after another. Somehow they got to communicate. And so the ESL teacher needs to communicate with the CTE teacher and vice versa. And so the way that we honor this and try to make this happen is through co-planning time.
Thank you. Thank you. Toby?
Unmute. Okay, got it. So very similar to Francisco, we make sure that students are in an ESL class as well as a training class, and then offered with all the workforce prep part. So like I said before, ours, because we have at different partner locations, we try to get teachers to go to the same class. That's the best we have seen. If co-teaching is best. And then the last part of the course, we make sure that they get the workforce prep part. But in our ESL classes, this is how we do it. We have the ESL class, and then part of the ESL class, we have the co-apps, which is the IELC co-apps. And when we use the IELC co-apps, we're choosing ones that will be for workforce placement, like resume writing, interview skills, etc., the soft skills part. And then the CTE teacher comes in. So it's different permutations and combinations, depends on where the classes are. To give you an example, right now for our pharmacy tech and medical assistant classes, what we do is 2 days of theory, 2 days of English language, and the 5th day, the Friday, would be the workforce prep. So that way students know they have to come 5 days a week, but each day is dedicated to different things. But then when the CTE teacher is teaching, our ESL teachers in the class, so she or he knows what's going on so that they can help the EL language students the following day. So that's how we make sure we have all 3 components happening. In fact, we have 3 teachers right now for that: pharmacy tech and the But eventually we were looking at, from an administrative level, it's very expensive to have 3 teachers and 3 teachers collaborate. But this is a pilot class because we just started MA and PT, so we are learning from it, and maybe if we can tweak a little bit so that there some cost efficiency comes in, that's something we need to look at. But because it's the end of the school year and I know how much funds are left over, we are privileged to be able to use those funds to have 3 teachers in a class.
Thanks, Toy. I appreciate you bringing up the cost, and then how the idea of an IET is you're always iterating, refining, and streamlining. Thanks. Tammy, over to you.
Yeah, so very much like Francisco, we look at the 3 pieces. We do dual teaching for everything. So our CTE teacher basically covers the workforce training, and then the workforce prep and career training. And then the ESL does that supports that, as well as support the co-ops. We have our ESL program classes completely separate from our IET because we have so many ESL students. And so some aren't looking to go into a job training type of program yet, or some are older and they're like, I just want to be able to communicate and know what my grandchildren are saying with their friends in front of me. And I want to know, but I don't want to go back to school for a trade. So we have separate classes that are just working on those language skills. But in the IET class, we do have the ESL instructor working with the co-op that goes with whatever industry sector that the class is under. And then between the 2 of them, they collaborate. I am very fortunate that I came into a setting where all of our teachers have the same prep at the end of the day. And so it made it very nice for us to have that prep time at the end of the day where they could do the collaboration. But then we also do our PLC collaborations on Friday afternoons. And part of that time is dedicated to, if they're the ESL instructor, they go with their ESL group. And then if they're a CTE instructor, of course, they go with CTE. But then we also give them separate time for the IETs to then work collaboratively as a PLC as well. So we kind of dabbled in that last year and found that we weren't giving enough time for the IET teachers, the 2 to really collaborate, or even to collaborate with another IET pair that might be in the same industry field. So we're expanding that this year, this school year coming up, so that we do have more of that time and more of the time to collaborate with industry partners. Once a month, we are using those Fridays for those instructors to also go out and collaborate with the industry partners. Is there anything new? Is there anything you're seeing in our students that are coming out as employees that we need to incorporate with what we're doing within the classroom, whether it be stronger language skills or whether it be more on the training piece? So that the triangle is very important, and making sure that all 3 of those pieces are integrated seamlessly. Our students who might be in the class that aren't a second language learner have no idea that they're being taught strategies through a co-op, that it's just seamless because they're like, oh, these are skills we need to know for the job that we're getting in, or we're going into. So that has worked well. We're still, like you said, Blair, it's always a refinement process. So we continue to refine and make it more streamlined and more cost effective. Like Toybi said, that sometimes is a barrier in order to provide all the things that are needed for the IET program.
Yeah, thank you. I'm seeing some things in the chat about curriculum. Angela, great questions. And I see Toybi's answering some of those. I think what we'll do is go into breakout rooms, and then Angela, you can ask your question directly to one of the presenters, and they'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that. Because yes, you're right. Curriculum can be complicated, and there aren't a lot of packaged curriculums. You usually have to tweak them. So I think that they'll be able to give you some really great strategies or resources for that. So what we're coming up next is 2 rounds of breakout rooms. You'll automatically be put into a breakout room. Then after 10 minutes, you as a participant will stay in the breakout room, but you'll get one of the new panelists will come in. And so you can hear a few different ways that maybe they are approaching their IET. So if there are any questions before we move? All right, then if we can be put into breakout rooms, that would be fabulous. Thank you.
I'm going to open them right now.
So, Greg, one of my recommendations is standing meetings with partners. I think the standing meetings are super important.
Thank
All
you.
right, hi, I think we're back, and even if we aren't, we're going to sort of race through this because we're already at the top of the hour, and I did not want to miss thanking our panelists so much for participating, sharing your valuable experience. And for everybody else, I know in my room, other people shared their experiences, and this is really what collaborating and sharing strategies for delivering these really crucial approaches to working with our multilingual learners as they try and integrate into their local context and get to use their assets towards what they are as quickly as they can. So I just want to say thanks so much. I'm going to turn it back either to either Renee or Lisa for any last words.
Great. Thank you, Blair. I'll just quickly also extend my thanks. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Also, you'll notice that there is a link to an evaluation of this webinar. We actually read these and we do learn from them. And this is how we came up with this series. We appreciate all your feedback and comments so that we can tailor it and continue it. Holly or Renee?
Yes, I'll take it from here. We just want to thank you, Lisa, Blair, and Greg for being with us today, as well as Toybi and Tammy and Francisco. Really just fun to listen to. And thank you to all our attendees for spending time with us this morning. The evaluation, as you know, has been posted in the chat. Please take a moment to provide feedback on today's session, as it does inform how we plan our future webinars. Today's session was recorded and it will be made available once it's fully remediated. We will email everyone once it's posted on the website and available for viewing. Also, Holly dropped in a link about the call for the Cape Summit proposals. This is the last weekend to submit a proposal. They are due by the 30th. So we really invite you to consider whether you want to do a presentation at the Cape Summit in October. With that, I just thank you again and thank you for being with us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.